The point is, a narrower arc is not going to allow you the time to build up the speed. Anytime you hit it farther than that, you're going to have to be the being that generates that speed. That's going to get you back to using your hands, more than likely overusing your hands, creating hooks and slices, and top shots and thin shots that you're not going to like. This is why the best players in the world don't do it that way, because it's too many variables. The minute your hands try to control everything, they end up over-controlling. Your hands and wrists are your sole control, but you have to quiet them down. They have to work in concert with your arm. And your arms, as they swing, allow your body to work and support and become a base to swing from, so they work in concert with your arms. Good swings, what you love about a good swing is how the player married his arms and hands and his body to a motion. I'll try to demonstrate the swing that I've been using for a long time, and hopefully you'll see that. If I'm hitting ugly shots, you probably won't. But I feel a swinging motion with my arms, and my body moves as a pivoting action relative to that. So I'm back, through, and around. My left arm isn't stiff at all.
Well, how straight? Should I say straight?
You could say straight, but here's why it's straight. Centrifugal force does it for me. What's centrifugal force? When you put a body in motion, it tends to want to go away from you. Yeah, so all I'm doing with that golf club is holding on.
Yeah, but most people here don't go back nearly that far before they bend their arm.
Right.
Why?
Because they stop the flow of their arm.
See, so how to go back even 3/4 of the way without bending your arm? Is there an easy way of doing that? How?
You have to fit in with Mother Nature's plan here. You keep a pace. As I swing my arm back.
There, see, look at.
Sure. Totally relaxed.
And it's relaxation.
And here's the
subtleness or whatever you guys.
And if I had a rope or a hose or a piece of string, guess what? It would also be straight. Yeah, because what happens is you get to here and you stop the flow of your arm. So here's what you do. Club comes in. So you've actually activated another hinge, a third hinge.
And that's bad.
But why doesn't mine do that? Because it's constantly in motion.
Okay.
When I swing my arm back, but you mean when you get to here, you stop the flow of your arm. So guess what? The club's still going. See, the problem with this game is it's all based on the laws of physics. It really is. And we try to put our own personal spin on that. And if it doesn't go the way we want, we're confused, upset, aggravated. But you have to go back to the most basic things, the most basic properties here. The most basic properties are, like I say, the laws of physics. If I put a body in motion, it tends to stay in motion. When I swing the club back and I go back the other way, there's constant centrifugal force working on my club head. That's what keeps the width to my arc. I don't have to be stiff and tight to do that. If you have a slower swing, guess what you're going to have? Less centrifugal force working on the club. A slower swing. You'll probably see really slow swingers tend to have their arm bend a little bit. Bob Toski's a perfect example. His arm isn't perfectly stiff at the backswing, but here's what happens on a downswing. It straightens out again. Here's why. Because as he reverses directions and now he's creating speed, the club is lagging behind, he's creating centrifugal force, pulling the club, which creates centrifugal force, the outward rotation, which straightens his arm out again. That's how it works. When I swing this club back with my left arm, if I just swing it through the ball, I will make contact. If I swing my arm back at a fast enough pace, it'll look straight. I don't ever try to do that because, like I've said a few times in this session already, all bad shots are caused by only one thing: over-control. What causes over-control? Tension over anxiety. Tension and over-anxiety. So why would I stand up here with my arm in a brittle, locked out fashion? I can't move fast when I'm tight. You don't do that. And you know what? Having your left arm straight is absolutely nothing to do with a good swing. It makes it maybe more consistent, but you can still take a club, like a 5-iron. If I swing this club back and I let my arm bend here, when I come down, it's going to straighten for me. So I'm back.
A lot of people do. I don't know how they do it consistently.
Well, it's simple. They let the force straighten their arm for them. I had a lady who was the club champion at a club I was the assistant pro at up in Connecticut, Farms Country Club up in Wallingford. Margaret Phipps, shot in the 70s on a regular basis. Here was her backswing. I'm telling you, she straight, hit the ball solid every time. She could time that bounce. But where did the club go? It bounced her out, so she had plenty of width through the shot, hit the ball almost 200 yards. But couldn't stop the flow of the club going back, or wouldn't, or didn't want to. Kept her hands very light, so when she did this, she wasn't getting a bounce that was like that, she was getting a little bounce. A swinging motion. Once you get this club in motion, the key is the flow all the way through and around, because the flow maintains the angle. It's the angle is what you're looking for. When you push, you dissipate the angle. That's the issue. When you come up here and you let your elbow bend, it's very instinctive to push. That's why people don't, typically teachers try to stop you from doing that. But getting your left arm and hand stiff creates another whole set of problems. And the problems are your opposing muscles. Because for every muscle you have, there's an opposing muscle on the other side. And what happens is when you lock them all up at the same time, guess what you got? Gridlock. Now your muscles are working against each other, so they can't create any speed. When you're light and relaxed, you can create a lot of speed. When I go to swing this club, a lot of times my thought is to just keep my left arm going. Keep my left arm going. As long as it's staying ahead, guess what I've got? An angle. That angle creates the angle that hits the ball, then the turf, and it keeps on going. I never want to see, won't say never because there's a few specialty shots along the way, but I usually on my basic swing, I never want to see that club get ahead of my left arm and hand. It leads it all the way through to the finish. What you see with average players is that never happens. It becomes a push. And the minute that push sets in, you are dead as a player. Dead. You've lost all your power. You've lost the angle of approach into the ball, so you can't hit it solid. And the angle is probably going to be closed or open, so you're going to leave it way right or took you to the left. So then your instinct tell you, well, I got to push it more with my right hand to get the club squared up. So